Well, Nebraska's losing livestock farms, and it's costing the state jobs and dollars. On the heels of a Ravenna cheese plant closing, some now worry pork plants could be next to shut their doors.
NTV's Bureau Chief Steve White kicks off a special report, Steakonomics, the economics of livestock.
How do you make a burger better? You add cheese and bacon. They're things Nebraska has long produced, but we've seen a cheese plant close, and some think a pork plant could be next.
That's definitely a big concern on, most dairies in Nebraska. Is the number of cows are definitely down in Nebraska.
It's meal time at Wolf Den Dairy, and if Steve Wolf does his job, he'll improve your meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner aren't complete without things like milk, cheese, and yogurt. And cheese is what this cow's milk was turned into.
That's kind of changed in the last 6 months. Before that, most of our milk was going to Leprino in Ravenna, and then unfortunately we lost that plant. So now we have to go just a step further.
That cheese plant closed, in part management said, because they lacked milk supply in central Nebraska. So the milk from Wolf Den Dairy goes elsewhere.
Our milk right presently is going to Norfolk. It's a milk specialties. It's a powder plant.
The closure in Ravenna cost 170 workers their jobs, but it also cost Steve more time on the road to northeast Nebraska.
That's right at about 190 miles.
That's getting up there a little bit more, probably just a little more than you'd like, right?
Well, that's a little bit more than we like. The 35 miles was definitely a lot, was better.
Economists at the University of Nebraska are concerned as well. The state's dairy cow numbers have dropped 20% in a decade.
Dairy numbers have been decreasing in the state, whereas in other states they have really grown. I think one of the issues is with Nebraska is we got to get the processing in, and the processing doesn't want to come unless there's a commitment to the dairy. So which comes first?
Experts see a similar pattern in pork production. Millions of Nebraska-born hogs are exported to be fed in other states, then shipped back to be processed into ham, bacon, and other pork products.
We'd like to break that cycle and have at least half of those hogs fed here in Nebraska, and be able to help support the processing industry more to keep it here in Nebraska, because those jobs are really a boon to the rural areas, and good wage jobs, and very important to the economy.
Back at Wolf Den Dairy, the loss of a local processing plant also means it's harder to get supplies and services. Steve Wolf only has a few competitors, and he'd like to see more because he believes in Nebraska.
We have huge advantages when it comes to that.
Advantages like water, feed, and land that attracted him all the way from Virginia 17 years ago, raising cows that add to a balanced diet.
You make you feel good to produce a product that not only is very tasteful, but a product that's very nutritious.
Wednesday night, we talked to Steve about the advantages Nebraska has for livestock producers and why he says it still makes sense for guys to follow suit and move here from the East Coast like he did 17 years ago, especially if we can clear some of the obstacles in the way of livestock expansion. We hope you'll join us.